guys, this is Chris from LidCritics, and guess who I got with me?
TheIceMan289 back at you.
This is the Q&A video that we said we were going to do yesterday, and you guys left your comment in the little short 15-second video I did. So he's going to read the questions, and then we're going to answer them for you guys.
Why do you have a mullet? Well, I have a mullet. Chris had a. Why do I have a mullet? Because no one else around here has one. Different. It's a vintage haircut that goes along with my style, I guess. Can you pronounce? It's spelled N-A-V-E-N.
Naveen?
I guess. That's how you pronounce it. I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either, man. I'd have to crack a dictionary. What is the latest trend where both of you are from? For example, in Cali, where I'm from, kids shuffle and ride fixie bikes and wear Mitchell and Ness thinking they're cool. That is from I Fear Work. The first two questions were from 21 Stephen, Penny, and Divin Axel, and then that one's from I Fear Work. So basically he's asking what are the latest trends in our areas.
They dress like basketball players, or they dress like skaters, you know, with like the baggy clothes, and hipsters, I guess.
The trends in Iowa, well, where I go to school, no one dresses like I do, and no one really dresses like this snapback, like vintage. Everyone usually wears like jeans from the buckle, like those $150 jeans with like rhinestones on the butt and all that stuff. I hate those jeans. Sorry if you wear them. Nothing against you or anyone. Everyone shops at the buckle. 808 Baby D asks, what kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to rap and hard rock. Those are my two favorite genres.
Yeah, I like Christian rap and Christian rock, Christian pop, stuff like that. Usually I listen to all Christian music. And
you guys should like listen to upcoming rappers, like just on YouTube. That they're really good. Like Mike Stud is upcoming, Cam Meekins.
Yeah.
They're gonna get there though.
Let's see. JJ95 East asks, what do you think of New Era snapbacks and the 47 brand one?
Our last 40 videos that we did have basically been dissing New Era, so all I can say is I hate them. The high crowns, like the really deep crowns, and the big round bills that look like sombreros, like Brandon always says. And then 47 have like these awkward like brim shapes.
They do. I will say that the 47 brand is probably the most awkward brim shape I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I like the vintage New Era snapbacks, but I've realized like I like them because just the way they fit and feel. I'm not really into the remakes as much because they just dig into my forehead, just the fit of them. Most of the remakes anyways, like the bigger names. But as far as the New Era snapbacks, they're all right. I noticed that the vintage New Eras had really high crowns, just like the remakes do, and I don't know if, you know, the fit of their hats, like the crown and everything, they fit. The old ones fit like the new ones, but the brim's a little different. It's not as round on the vintage ones. And the 47 brand ones, like I said, their brims, I think they're the most whacked out brims I've ever seen. All the remakes. I think New Era's brims are better than their brims.
Like the hat's like below my eyebrows.
It's like you're sticking a bucket on your head.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with the New Era if you have a big head. Right, Danny531787 asks, Iceman, what inspired you to start thrifting, and what do the people at your school say when they see you with all this dope stuff? For all of you guys, do you ever get complimented on having white boy swag by anyone? What inspired me to start thrifting? Well, I've gotten clothes from the thrift store ever since I was little. My parents, you know, shopped for me there, like a lot of you guys' parents do when they're poor and young and have very little money out of college. And
my mom dragged me there. I hated thrift stores when I was little.
What was that?
My mom dragged me there when I was little.
Yeah. You know, and I didn't really think twice about it when I was really young, like, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then when I got into junior high, it was like uncool. Now it's cool again because we made it cool. TBS made it cool. What inspired me to start thrifting again just recently within the last year and making videos. I've never told anyone this, so what you're about to hear is very exclusive. But the people that got me interested in doing all this thrifting and stuff, because I know out of all the TVS members, I've been making videos the longest, like the 4OGs and even all the other up and coming new guys. All the guys that came after that. I've been making videos for like pickup videos the longest. But who inspired me to start doing videos like that, like going to the thrift store and stuff like that? System Psycho. JWolf215. I know that he like kind of pretty much ended his YouTube career, sold a lot of his hats and stuff, but JWolf215, and another guy by the name of Kuzma Beast 1. Go look him up. And he was the very first person I've ever seen. He was the very first person with the video of Trip to the Thrift video. Then I copied him, and then Professor started doing them after me, and then everyone's starting to do Trip to the Thrifts. But yeah, the very first person that I've ever seen do Trip to the Thrift video was Kuzma Beast. And he was into the vintage stuff, and so those three guys are the main guys that got me into it. So, and then what do people say when they see all this dope stuff? Some people are jealous, I guess. Some people get mad. Some people think it's stupid. I don't know. There's a lot of different stuff. And people trip because I get like hats for like $2-3, and they're spending like a ton of money on theirs. That's why I like the thrift store, because you don't have to like crack your wallet as wide. And then it says something about, has anyone ever complimented you on having white boy swag? I do have a couple of African-American friends, black friends, that say I have swag, and I'm not racist or anything. Shout out to D'Angelo. But when a black guy tells you a white guy that he has swag, then he has swag. You know what I mean? You can't argue with that. Favorite snapback brand? By Northern Snaps. Go ahead.
I like the new school snapback. I just go Zephyr, and then my favorite vintage brand is Logo 7.
Yeah, I usually don't wear remake hats, but if I had to pick a remake brand, I would pick American Eagle, which it's not a remake brand. I mean, they've been around for a long time, just like New Era. But I'd pick the remake American Eagle ones because they look closest to the vintage. They have square brims. The fit of them is the fit of the American Needle ones. The remakes are pretty good. And as far as my vintage brand, honestly, it's basically, when it comes down to vintage hats, it's a style for me. It really doesn't matter about the brand. If I had to pick, I would say the Logo 7 fits, and the Logo 7 competitor ones, because competitor is part of Logo 7, if you've ever heard of that. Vintage subgroup or whatever. It's made by competitor. I like the way they fit. Their hats are a little bit larger for my head, so probably Logo 7 and competitor are my favorite vintage brands. What made you get into vintage scene to begin with, and what do you think the next hat trend will be? Snapbacks are in, I'd say. Iceman, how in the HE double hockey sticks do you thrift here in the Midwest? LidCritics, why are the Penguins your favorite NHL team? So, what got you into the vintage scene to begin with? Like I said, those three guys, Kuzma Beast, JWolf215, and System Psycho. I've always liked to kind of steer away from the mainstream, just do my own thing and kind of be a little different, but still have a little bit of the same things. So the vintage is kind of like that because, snapbacks are in, but if you have a vintage one, most people are rocking mall snapbacks. A lot of people don't go to the thrift store and get weird clothes. So I like interesting, attire. What do you think the next trend will be? Oh, what got you into the vintage thing?
Never really been into the vintage, except like lately. Mm-hmm. The last couple of months, I've been liking vintage more and more, I guess. Mm-hmm. The original designs, instead of like the remakes, they're trying too hard.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess I like original stuff. I don't like copying other stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of the designs of the remakes, they're just a bunch of copied designs.
But yeah, like vintage stuff. I mean, I've been watching your guys' videos for a while, so I guess I would say you guys got me into vintage stuff. But I've always been into the new school stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then he asks, what will the next hat trend be?
I know snakeskin's going to come in like really big soon, just on snakeskin Mitchell Ness.
I'd say the next hat trend will be, I agree with him. I don't know if it'll, I mean, like snakeskin will be one of them, but I think the customized brims are gonna, you know, any hat with a weird brim, I think that's gonna be just the next big thing, you know, just a funky, you know, whacked out dope brim. And then he asked, how do I thrift here in the Midwest? I don't know, I thrift.
He gets lucky.
So yeah, I know a lot of people around here, their shops are dry. Mine were dry for a while. Mine are kind of picking back up a little bit. And then he asks, why are the Penguins your favorite NHL team?
An amazing offensive line. You know, with Crosby, Malkin, they got Stahl, and then they're just like an all-star team, you know? They have like the best players on their team.
Yeah.
And they just got off, what was that, like 11-game winning streak?
Yeah, I don't follow hockey, so.
After they just went on an 8-game winning streak, and then they lost, and then they went on another like 10 or 11-game winning streak.
I like the Penguins just because their logo, their vintage logo, their old logo's sick. I think that's like one of the sickest hockey logos. Can I get a shout out by Chris Kidd 15? There's your shout out, bro.
Yeah, there's your shout out.
Where's the best thrift store in Des Moines? By Trevon or 777. That I cannot disclose. I try to avoid telling people where I thrift because they're gonna come and, you know, jack all my stuff. I actually ran into a viewer of mine at the thrift one time. I didn't know he was a viewer of mine until I came home and he wrote on my Facebook wall or whatever. But I guess there are people here in Des Moines that shop at my thrift, so. You know, I'm not going to tell everyone where the best stuff is, but I just say Google it. You know, that's a lot of people ask, where do you shop at thrift stores? And my answer to that is Google it. Go on Google and type in thrift stores in blank, wherever your city is, wherever you live, in San Diego, Chicago, wherever you live.
If you give away that information, then you're going to have to compete.
Exactly. Once I tell everyone where I thrift here in Des Moines, it's over.
Then you'll be producing less videos.
Exactly.
Every week.
I will have less heat pickups for you guys. Everyone will be jacking all my stuff.
And then it'll just be eBay.
Yes, then it's just eBay. And I'll have to get screwed over with shipping prices. So. And then last question is by Sicko619. He asks, out of all the guys in LidCritics and Iceman, who has the biggest mullet going?
Well, I think I'm winning.
Yes, I think you are, dude. You're way ahead of me. Yeah, shout out to Sicko619, dude. That was a good question. Man. This thing is, should I do a little, should I turn around and, can you see it?
Oh, yeah. You see it. Obviously, the Iceman has the longest mullet out of all of us.
That's all the questions that y'all posted.
Part 2.
Yeah.
If you want, if we get really good feedback and you guys like this, I mean, we could do like a series or something. Yeah. I don't know. You guys probably have a lot of questions to ask.
Right. There's always questions coming. My inbox is exploding. It's ripping at the seams.
I mean, you can give his inbox a break and just save it for a video.
Yes, perfect. Perfect. Just, did you hear that? Did you hear that, people? Did you hear that? Give me a break, please. Please. Did you hear that, people? Listen to LidCritics right now. Save those questions for another video like this. We're probably going to be doing another one, so.
For the next video, I mean, you can leave the questions on this video.
Yes, perfect. Perfect.
If you have any questions, leave them down below. Yep. I hope you guys like this.
Yeah,
and,
I enjoyed this.
Oh, yeah, dude, it was fun. Bringing something new to the channel. See you guys next time for the next.
We'll be in touch. Me and Chris will be in touch, and then be talking about it. And we'll hit you guys up with another questions video. So more questions below.
This has been LidCritics and the Iceman289.
Peace out, guys.
Later.